Give you a glimpse of something that perhaps you have never ever seen. As we are right outside the temple of the Todas, we are going to show you a glimpse of the ceremony that is performed. And Tarun sir, if you can tell us the significance of what is going to happen now.
So you have these rounded stones, which have usually been carried from distant, rivers and these areas, like those distant rivers, like known as Polwa and all that. So in those days, honest skin. They have carried and brought these stones up, and they're usually brought here and kept around each temple and people usually after a ceremony, a very important ceremony, they lift it onto their left shoulder as a prowess of strength. And if you lift it with brute strength, it's incredibly difficult to lift. So what you have to do is you have to lift it up in 3 jerks. There. Pushner, tuk.
And how heavy would that be?
Ju. Each stone, it varies. Ju.
Okay, this looks very difficult and it also looks extremely heavy.
It's very heavy. It's extremely heavy. People, sometimes when VIPs come and all that, their commandos try and lift it because anybody can try. I mean, if it's taken out of that courtyard, other people can lift it.
Okay.
And I've had, VVIPs, commandos coming and say, can I try? I said, try. And they just try and they just drop it. So with brute strength, it's difficult. So if he didn't get those 3 jerks, with brute strength, he can't put it on his shoulder. He has to get it on his knee, on the thigh, then on here near the lower part of the chest, and then 3rd jerk here.
So that marks the end of an important
ceremony. It usually marks the end of it, exactly. So they last year when they thatched this temple, they did that.
Okay.
So they did that. So it usually marks the end of a ceremony. Although if you look at the literature, people have written that in the literature, people have written that Todas lift this to win a bride. It sounds very romantic, but it's not true.
Okay.
So people ask that question.
Okay. So, okay.
It's not to win a bride or something, but as a prowess of strength.
Okay.
So usually young boys come and they lift it, like that.
So anybody can lift it, or is it only somebody associated with the temple who can?
No, anybody can lift it. Anybody can lift it. Yeah.
Okay.
After prowess of strength, usually these young boys, and some of these places I've seen that the stone can be weighing almost as much as a boy.
Oh.
So, 50 kilo stone and the boy is not even more than 50 odd kilos, and he lifts it up. So it's not just brute strength.
Okay.
It's much more than that.
Okay, all right.
They call it tukitkash. They call it as tukitkash.
In fact, what I've witnessed in the language that you were speaking as well, you mentioned that they are the indigenous tribe of Nilgiris and they have been here for over 3,000 years. But there is a very different language in the dialect, at least to me, it sounds very different from Tamil.
Correct.
Where does the language come from? What is the history of the language? And is it actually very different from Tamil?
See, lots of people have prophesized or hypothesized that the Todas are one of the lost tribes of Israel. They are Scythians. They are from Mesopotamia, all kinds of things because of their kind of cultural traits and their language.
Okay.
But it has now been proved that the Toda language, they call it all-wash. The Todas call the Toda as all-wash, the language. And this is a very ancient Dravidian, South Dravidian language. And it has the same origin as Tamil.
Okay.
So the same Proto-Dravidian language that gave rise to Tamil 3,000-4,000 years ago also gave rise to Toda.
Okay.
But because of this isolation over thousands of years, it sounds phonetically aberrant. The linguists call it aberrant. So it's I may be the only outsider who speaks the language. But normally you should find that the general population should be able to speak the language very easily, but they find it very difficult to speak this language.
Okay, to communicate it becomes slightly different.
Phonetic, they all speak Tamil, the Todas, so there's communication is no problem.
Okay.
But the outsiders, you'll very rarely find anybody who can speak Toda language or understand it. So phonetically, it is aberrant, it's difficult to pronounce for the local population. For example, if in Tamil you have 12 vowels. Now, vowel is a basic thing in a language, right? In Toda, you have 17.
Oh, okay.
Right, so even vowels. So
tell me a little, in a certain sentence in Tamil versus in the Toda language, just to see or hear how different it sounds.
So the most basic thing which people from all over know, that when you come to Tamil Nadu, you'll say, Nalla irkingla, are you well? Now in Toda, you'll say, Ultishya. So it is it sounds different.
Yeah.
But it has the same origin.
Okay.
In a very distant way. And when you saying bye to somebody in Tamil Nadu, you say na poit varen. So in Toda, you'll say on fish Rushkin.
Okay.
So it sounds different, but it has a similar kind of a root there. So it's a unique language that way. So linguists have come from all over the world to study this language, from Berkeley, Professor Emino. So many people have come to study this language. And it's a very unique thing. In my book, I've evolved my own system how to write it in Roman.
And is it a language that is now fading? Do you think so? Because, and from the community, are the people also now integrating into other jobs and moving away from the community? What is the trend that you have witnessed?
See, the government of Tamil Nadu is very aware of this thing, because you see, as per UNESCO, the Toda language is listed as a critically endangered language of the world. Not because they're not speaking it. The next generation, as you can see, these children, they're all speaking the language. But because demographically, there are only 1,000 odd people. So demographically, any community less than 10,000 is treated like that. So it's listed as a critically endangered language. And the government of Tamil Nadu is now very aware of this. So last year, they started a project called Tolkudi scheme. It's for the oldest of the Adivasis, the Tolkudi scheme. So after my retirement from dentistry last year, I have now taken up this project, the government of Tamil Nadu. So I'm running this center where I'm running this project, the Tolkodi project, for the revitalization of Toda language and culture in my center for 1 year. So the Tamil Nadu government is very much aware that we need to revitalize this language and culture. So I conduct workshops and events for the community themselves to teach them about different aspects, and the younger people, in case they forget it. And it's all being archived and uploaded so that people can see it for posterity. And it's already there in my book also, but this is there in a digital format.
Okay, all right. There's a lot to speak about on what are the issues of the people of the community. You spoke about the role of the government, and the government does play a very important role in also protecting their rights. What are the key issues for them? We're going to be speaking about that, and also we're going to be meeting the women of the community as well. They are not allowed very close to the temple, but they are a very, very important, thriving part of the community. So we're going to be meeting them, speaking to them as well, and I'm sure you will also help us with the language.
Sure, of course.
Speaking to them, finding out what is it that they want in the elections.